I don't know if y'all remember 1999. I'm listening to Love Line with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla. It's 10:30 at night. I'm disobeying my parents by being awake. Linkin Park shows up on the show. Dude, I've never hated my parents so hard.
Why is that? Why?
Because
that
the
music
original
made you?
music,
Man.
yeah.
Like, one step closer.
I'm about to break.
You're like, oh, I hate my parents. They've been repressing me this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what that music was. It's just like, I hate you, Mom and Dad. Ah!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the DP Podcast. I just want to say a few words about this next guest, because this next guest, I haven't known him as long as the past guests, but I have such a strong bond with this guy because I've traveled overseas with him. I've been roommates with this guy. I've seen this guy go through highs and lows. He's seen me go through highs and lows. We've been all across the world together, seen multiple countries. He's helped me get work. I've helped him in the ways I can. You know, he's just a brother from another mother. I mean, there's no other way to put it, you know. This guy is an amazing musician, an even better person. He can play like every instrument, man. This guy's insane. I see him on a gig and he'll be playing, MIDI keyboard while playing bass, while playing drums just to show off. But in this episode, I try to delve deeper into his background and just see what made him the man he is today when it comes to his musical journey or just life in general. So without further ado, here's one of my best friends, Joshua McClanahan. Hello and welcome to another episode of the DP Podcast. Double penetrating your skull through both ears. Today's guest is my boy, my main man, my main home slice. We've traveled overseas together on multiple contracts. We've been to Indonesia, Bahrain, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. We've done it all together. We've been through some tough times, some great times, some hilarious times, some not so great times. And, we're just going to be talking about everything because this is my main man. His name's Joshua McClanahan. What's good, bro?
What up, man? You know what's funny? What picture I was looking at the other day? The picture of you, me, and Gilder at the airport in London. And y'all, I had passed out because all I did was drink and fall asleep and stay awake and anger everybody on that flight because, do you remember that?
Yeah, man, of course. You were passed out. Chris passed out too, bro.
No, I didn't pass out on the flight. I passed out at
in
the
terminal.
airport.
Yeah.
At the terminal back when our plane missed. So we had to go to Qatar and then to Bahrain.
So this was on our way to Bahrain 1 month after going to Indonesia, 2015? 2015.
Bro, we coming up
June.
on 5 years.
5 years, bro.
Actually, yeah. Dude, it was the week of 4th of July. It was probably to the day 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think you're right, bro. I don't remember the exact details, but I think you're pretty spot on.
It was like right after 4th of July.
Damn,
Holy
bro.
crap.
But just to recap, when it came to our flight, we had a 6-hour flight from LAX to Chicago, right?
Yeah.
And then we had a 2-hour layover there, and then we had another 2 hours because they were having engine problems with the plane, and we were like, you know what, we're gonna take our time.
Hey, we're gonna take our time. We're gonna relax.
Yeah, we don't need that plane because Malaysia just fell down.
They lost the plane.
They lost it, bro. Little did they know it was in the last place they looked.
Bro, do you remember right after that takeoff? It was the worst thing I've ever experienced.
Which one, LAX?
No, the one right after Chicago.
Oh, Chicago, yeah.
And we're up. It's like 15 minutes in, 15, 20, and they're starting to push the drinks around. All of a sudden, the whole plane just drops. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. I was still awake.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Sleepy.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I freaking pass out on planes like a baby.
It doesn't matter how long he's been awake or asleep. He could have just woken up from a great 9-hour sleep. He is going to fall asleep the whole flight. It's so annoying.
I know, I make the worst flight partner.
Dude, you remember when I drugged myself to sleep, basically?
Drank yourself or drugged yourself? Both.
It's a blurred line.
Bro, man. Hey, it's free little bottles of Jack. All you can drink for free on
international
flights.
But you remember? So I couldn't sleep. I'm terrible at sleeping on airplanes.
Yeah.
So,
but why do you hate flying, though? Because you ain't in control? You gotta be flying the plane, bro.
If I was flying a plane, no problem.
Exactly.
We're going to get there.
I can land a plane with no wings,
exactly.
bro.
Charlie.
but okay, so then we had a 2 hour layover and we get on and then the plane falls.
Dude, worst 30 seconds of my life. The plane, all you hear is just, and the plane just drops. All the flight attendants lose their minds, hop in the seats, leave the carts in the aisles. And we're just sitting there. I'm like, this is it. This is how we die. And Daniel over there like, oh, we're fine. I'm going to go to bed. Rude.
High key.
Rude. Anyways, all that to say, we made it. Here we are 5 years later, and we didn't die on an airplane.
Yeah, but that's not even the worst part because we got to Heathrow, England, right? Mm-hmm. And that was what, a 10-hour, 8-hour flight?
No, so remember, from LA to Heathrow is 9 hours, 9 to 10 hours, but we went Chicago. So Chicago there should only been like 6. Mm-hmm. So
maybe like 6 hours.
Yeah, but because, we were delayed.
Yeah, and we had a 2 hour layover there, but because we were delayed for 2 hours, we got there, and as soon as we landed, we get to the exit terminal, and they're like, "Oh, here's some food vouchers because you guys aren't gonna make it to your flight, so you guys gotta wait another 8 hours for the next flight, and not even to Bahrain, to Qatar."
Hey, I'm not hating. That was the best flight I have ever had.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I mean, all the way down. The flight attendants was cute. I mean, you didn't think so because they were Asian, but
yo, hey.
The food was bomb,
and they had Snarky Puppy.
They did
for music.
That they did. They had all the endless drinks, all the endless food, snacks, you name it, for like 8 hours. No, it wasn't 8. Yeah, it was 8. I think Dubai to there is about a good 7-8 hours.
Yeah, but then flying from Qatar to Dubai, they're like, "Yo, we're gonna take a shortcut," and like,
bro, dude,
where through? Because there's a war going on just across the sea over here.
He was like, "Salam alaikum. This is your captain speaking."
Oh yeah,
we just took a shortcut. We'll be landing in Bahrain right after takeoff.
Literally up and down. It was like a Vegas flight from here.
It was what, 15 minutes?
15-20 minutes, yeah, man. It's quick.
They took the shortcut. I want to know what that shortcut was.
Right. But just to go back a little bit, like Josh has had a pretty interesting upbringing. He was adopted and raised by a white family, and your dad worked for Boeing.
Everybody airline.
Yeah, everybody airline, and he helped build what plane exactly?
So he worked somehow on the SR-71, which was like the big top secret spy plane. Mm-hmm. But then he worked on like the first 747 ever made. So when I was 6, it was parked out in Cal City. So he took me and my sisters up in it, and that's where I got my fascination for airplanes from. Somehow I got scared of flying in there, but yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think he holds the 747, the SR-71. He's worked on a number of other projects that I'll never know about.
Top secret stuff.
Yeah.
But then, what was your introduction to music? Because, as I introduced you, you're a musician. You've played at a Quincy Jones club in Dubai twice. Mm-hmm. They hired you to MD one of their artists your second time through, and the first time through you were playing with one of his artists under his label. Both of them were under his label, right?
No, the second one, she was not under his label, but they had a partnership.
Okay.
So he doesn't have a label. I don't want to go around saying things that aren't true. So he has a production team. And so basically, or management team, sorry. It's called Quincy Jones Productions. They have a bunch of artists on their roster ranging from Jacob Collier, Richard Bona, Eli Teplin.
Eli Teplin, bro.
Just had to throw that out there in case he ever listens. Yeah, so basically I met Teplin through a mutual friend of yours and mine, a.k.a. Eli. And the rest is history. We ended up gigging together and doing the whole thing and trying to project me to meet a bunch of other cool people and gave me the experience to go out and do it again. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
No, go for it, bro. But, so do you remember your first moments playing an instrument?
Believe it or not, so rewind.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Rewind.
How old were you? Let's see.
How old do you think I was?
Bro, I think you came out the womb playing something, bro.
Dude, the only thing I came out the womb playing was drugs. I'm just
Oh, so do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, it's up to you.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I don't remember much.
But you
I don't remember the greatest high of my life, but
Damn, the ride ended quick. Damn, bro. So for those who don't know, I guess to put it kind of bluntly, Josh was a 3-pound like crack baby, as they say in parentheses.
we don't know exactly what it was, but it is assumed some coke was floating around in my system. So basically, what I understand is, when two people love each other, they fornicate and have babies. So the seed had been planted, and but there were a couple of other things that they liked.
in the mist.
They, everybody likes a nice natural mountain of substances.
Right, right. I was gonna say to calm the nerves, but that doesn't really do
That
that.
doesn't do that. Glad we can make a joke. This is getting dark.
Oh man.
Anyways, so my mom, bless her heart, decided to keep doing drugs. I don't know the fullest extent because, like I said, it's not very documented. There is some documentation that I have from it, but not much. It's all kind of, yeah. So I popped my head out at 5 months old, and she pushed it back in, and then I popped my leg back out.
Oh, so wait, you came out legs first?
Something happened. I don't remember
Oh my
exactly,
gosh.
but yeah, something along those lines. And so then they went to the hospital, had me, and then I'm not entirely too sure what took place between the hospital and me turning 6 months, but somewhere in that 6 months, well, number one, I was on an incubator for like a month or two at the hospital because my lungs weren't formed, obviously, in 5 months. And so went through all of that kind of stuff, and then I came out either a month or two, and then I didn't stay very long with them. I want to say it was 2 to 3 months, and then I was placed in foster care with who I call my family, my actual parents, my mom and dad, and then I never left. So I stayed with them through the entire until
Until you
I was
moved
old.
out, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So that's my family. My family's white. I'm a large black man.
Yeah, we went from 3 pounds to oof.
Yeah.
What are you, like 6'3", 6'4"?
Somewhere between 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, see, so he's doing fine now, guys.
I'm
Don't
doing
worry.
all right. I ate, caught up. So yeah, life has been interesting to say the least.
So when did music get involved in your life?
Literally always. So my parents never ever hid me or stopped me from any of that.
They were supportive about it?
Super
or?
supportive as
that's
far
great.
as the learning of instruments. So when I was 6, I really wanted to learn drums, and I used to just beatbox over the place and just be like,
You still do that, bro.
just
Yeah, if you like, as we were setting this up, he was beatboxing all the way up and down his house. So
I have ADHD, like severe ADHD, so that's how I control it. I'm always fidgeting or doing something stupid, like beatboxing, tapping, something with rhythm. But so my parents saw that. There was a guy at our church that had gone to some Canadian music conservatory, and so he played like a lot of instruments. So he taught me the basics of drums, and I started playing for my church at like 6.5 years old. And then he also taught me the basics of guitar, of which I kind of picked up later on and whatnot. And then fast forward, I was in middle school, and the teacher goes, "Hey, rewind. I always wanted to play bari sax."
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that this giant saxophone that was as tall as me. I was like, I want to play that thing. That thing probably gets all the ladies.
Yeah, because every girl's like, "Yo, man, that's
Yeah.
what makes my panties wet."
Yeah, the big sax. That's what I want. But I could never afford one, so
Yo, all those instruments are expensive, man. They're ridiculous. That's why kids rent them. For all you parents who plan on having their kids learn an instrument and join orchestra or band,
Just
You gotta
play
rent
bass.
them. Just play bass. There you go. It's cheaper. Get
Yeah.
a $50 bass.
Yeah, $50
instead of
bass.
what, $50 a month to
Yeah,
rent it.
they'll go farther in life. Trust.
Yo, everybody needs a bassist.
Yeah, nobody needs a Barry sax player. There's only one Tower of Power, but everybody else needs a bass player.
That's right. You ain't right. You ain't wrong about that, bro.
I know. So yeah, since I couldn't afford a Barry sax, I just loved bass, and so my teacher was just like, 7th grade came around. They needed a bass player. I played guitar, so I kind of knew the string names and whatnot. I could play by ear, which was crazy. I've always had an ear. But I could play by ear in 7th grade. And so he was like, here you go, take the school bass home, learn how to play it. And so I like went home and taught myself how to play bass.
That's pretty dope, man. That they're just like, yo, this kid got it. Like, we know, and we need it. So
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah. And so that's how I started playing bass. And so once that happened, I still played drums because up until that point, drums were like my primary thing. I was always playing at church. I played for school. That's where I first learned to read music on, was drums. Everything was drums. And so up until that point, and then bass was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I can do what? And then guitar came in because, check this out, little 8th grade band, me, the cool kids of the band. We made a little instrumental band. We were the original Snarky Puppy.
Oh, okay.
Just throwing that out there.
You just didn't trademark it.
Yeah, exactly. They stole it from us.
I feel it.
Yeah. I actually probably still have video of this somewhere, but we had somehow we recorded a little demo of our instrumentals. There was 3 of us. It was me and 2 other drummers in the band. All 3 of us played drums in band, but we all played other instruments. So I hopped on guitar, another kid hopped on bass, and one of them stayed the drummer.
Okay.
So then we made instrumental music. It was hilarious. Our band name, Step Back Brand.
Hey, it starts with an S too, like Snarky Puppy, man.
Bro, I told you,
man,
we were
it's
the originals.
coming, bro.
This was 90, no, not 90. It was 2001.
2001. So at that point, you pretty much were already getting into music, like because Linkin Park had come out, like all these types of.
You said the Holy Linkin Park. That was the band. I don't know if y'all remember 1999. I'm listening to Loveline with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla. It's 10:30 at night. I'm disobeying my parents by being awake. Linkin Park shows up on the show. They were doing like some guest thing.
Probably promoting the new album.
Yeah, they're promoting the new album. Come out with In the End. Ding, 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 ding. Dude, I've never hated my parents so hard.
Why is that? Why?
Because
that
the
music
original
made you?
music.
Man.
Yeah,
Like, one step closer.
I'm about to break.
You're like, oh, I hate my parents. They've been repressing me this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what that music was. It's just like, I hate you, mom and dad. Ah!
And meanwhile, they're like, oh, he's just going through a phase.
Yeah. Crawling in my skin. So, but yeah, Linkin Park came out. So I lived in Washington at the time too. So rock music was just huge out there.
Close to Seattle.
Yeah. So I lived outside of Seattle. It was funny. I was actually the outcast because most of my friends did not listen to rock.
Really? What were they listening to?
Most of them listened to like pop stuff like Relient K, Blink-182.
What, Justin Timberlake had just come out too, right?
Oh, dude, Justin Senorita. I can think Yeah. I remember all the hits. But so yeah, music. Where were we at?
Linkin Park, Adam Carolla, and
Oh yeah, so I was
Dr. Drew.
listening to that late night. That took me on the road to liking emo music. Eventually, I got into a really successful band. Well, not really successful, but a successful band.
Did you guys play
playing
Warped
that
Tour or
kind of
anything?
stuff. Nothing like that.
Then you weren't a
locally.
solidified
Well,
band,
I know,
bro.
right?
Nah,
Unless we
back
play
then,
Warped
if you
Tour.
didn't play Warped Tour, bro, you had to pay up to be on there. Look at where they at now.
We opened up for everybody from like Warped Tour. So we did like all that like Project 86, Disciple, like all those kinds of bands. Like, we were openers.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
And-
We made it semi-successful. We had one song on the radio, but that's
Oh,
way
okay, that's
later.
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's what's up, man.
I know, Doc. You don't know me.
Yeah, man. Damn.
know
Well,
me?
let me get to know you.
But yeah, 8th grade was kind of the solidifying move because I was in that band Step Back, and then that led to another band that became like local hometown.
And what year was
successful.
this when you got over there?
So that was 03. No, 03 was ninth grade. And so basically, me and another member of Step Back joined forces with another band. So two of them from that, and we joined, and we became a band called Uproot. And Uproot was like a super successful pop band, like super successful.
And who was
as
writing the
far
music for this?
The main guy, his name is Eric. Funny, hilarious dude. A genius, actually.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What did he play? What were you playing in the band, and what was he playing?
I was bass. He was guitar and vocals. Steven was guitar and vocals. And then Joel was drums.
Okay.
And so we all played. So Eric, he played sax as well. Phenomenal sax player. We were all in jazz band together, except for Joel. Joel was in jazz choir. And so me, Steve, and Eric, we were all in jazz band. And then there was this girl.
Always.
There's always a girl.
Amen.
She went to my church. I was low-key in love with her. I will not name her name.
Yeah, don't.
You know.
Yeah, keep it a mystery, bro.
Keep it a mystery. But she comes up to me and she's like, Josh, you play bass really well, so why don't you join jazz choir? And I'm like, jazz choir? What's that? She's like, it's like jazz band, but just with singers.
So let me pause real quick. Were you okay? At this point, did you realize like she was kind of into you? Did you ever date her?
No, that's what's crazy.
Isn't it weird when you're at that age? Like guys are just oblivious. It just goes right over
Bro,
their head.
I'm still oblivious to things.
High key.
Like, there's this girl right now that everybody's like, oh, she's into you. And I'm like, nah.
Bro, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know how to get rid of that, man.
Dude, it's like this
man.
weird defense mechanism for rejection where it's just like, I'm going to shut down the possibility of this just to make sure I don't get my feelings hurt.
Man, is that what it is? 'Cause I think you're right, but at the same time, I think we're legitimately oblivious, especially at that age. We're just like, oh yeah, it's just a girl talking to us, like it's cool, like because you're trying to play cool.
At that age, though, you've got so much raging hormones going through you. You don't know what the freak is going on. You don't even know how to differentiate when a girl's hungry or when she's mad. Like
facts, yeah, you ain't wrong about that, bro.
I'm just saying. Don't be offended, ladies, when you hear this. But there's a difference between when you're mad and when you hungry mad.
Yeah, that's a
two in
fact,
the
man.
same.
Hangry is what we call it out here, man. Nah, man.
But yeah, so she come up to me. She's like, join jazz choir. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. Because I was just like, oh yeah, this girl is where it's at. And so I go into jazz choir. They do a little audition with me with the class. The teacher walks over to me, Mr. Harvey.
Was he a big influence on you?
Oh, probably the biggest influence.
Oh, and in what ways? I mean, he was probably the guy that got you into bass.
Yeah, kind of. Here, I'll explain. So I get into this choir. I quit jazz band. I get into the choir, and it's nothing but education. So here's what's crazy. Jazz band was like, here's the platform. Try and figure it out. You know, take a solo, do whatever. And then his angle of it was, here's the proper way. Here's theory. Here's technique. Here's this and that. Now, mind you, I was a bass player, and he was teaching this to singers, but we were required to learn it as musicians. Mm-hmm. And so that's why...
So he was giving you all the tools that you needed for your future.
Exactly.
That's what's up.
So you notice when I solo, I'm singing what I'm saying because that's what they taught me in jazz choir.
And that's a great thing, though. That's,
yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I
that's
can't
great.
differentiate.
I wish I knew that, you know?
Yeah, he taught me how to have a voice, how to, go about it. So he was, to this day, one of my top 5 influences as far as music goes.
Mm-hmm. So let's continue. So you're in this band, you're in jazz choir, you have this girl that you're really into that you never dated, unfortunately.
It is what it is. There are plenty of other women in that jazz choir.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to remember the women outweighed the men like 3 to 1. Mm-hmm. So we was all like,
and you were playing, so they heard you. So when you took a solo, they were like, hey,
man, you ain't wrong.
Yeah, man. It's like, don't care, man. Those girls gonna be like, yeah, that guy, my boy, he can play the bass.
Speaking of not understanding women, hilarious. There was this girl for like the first, literally through almost all of 9th grade, had this gigantic crush on me. Right? I mean. blatantly where she's holding up the airplane taxiways like, date
Oh my
me,
gosh.
date me.
Like, did she ask you out to like Sadie Hawkins or anything?
No, but she would like snuggle with me, drive.
Oh,
She was an
bro.
upperclassman, so she would drive me everywhere.
Oh, you
And,
had it
like,
made.
Oh, bro, I had it made, but I had her so friend zoned because in my mind she was impossible to have because
Oh, man,
she was
those
upper,
mental blocks be
dude,
brutal.
ruined me. She was cute. She was literally everything I could have dreamed of as ninth grade Josh, and I just butchered it.
Man, and you had an afro back then, right?
Bro, I had the puff. Well, that's when my first year starting to grow an afro.
Oh, okay.
So
You were sprouting your wings,
I
bro.
was sprouting. Yeah, I was a young tree, so it wasn't full puff, but you know it was nice.
It was going okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyways, after ninth grade, I moved here to L.A. or not L.A., but you know
Orange County?
here.
Here in the
Antelope Valley.
Antelope
Yeah.
Valley.
And so then I met Trey Balfour.
Yeah. Who we hope to get on the podcast as well.
Ooh, you should. Trey's
Very
a cool
accomplished musician, great person, you know. But continue, sorry.
So he was the one that just took my career and elevated it to the next level. So,
And what was he doing at that time when you met him?
when I met him, so he was my high school drum instructor for like basically sophomore through senior year, or second half of sophomore year because that's when I moved out. He was on the road with Michael Bolton at the time, and so when he wasn't touring, he was at the school teaching us drumline.
And
stuff.
what was he playing with Michael Bolton?
Oh, he's a percussionist.
And an amazing one at that.
Yeah, that guy's a monster.
Yeah.
Like seriously a monster.
Yeah. Only dude who deserves that paycheck on percussion.
Dude, I've seen him play a tambourine and steal the entire show with a tambourine.
I believe it. I've only seen him play percussion once, but that one time that I saw him over here in Bravery
Oh yeah,
Brewing,
he did the same thing. There,
It was incredible.
but he did it with a triangle.
Yeah, with the triangle, and I was like, damn, bro, like get on percussion more often, bro. Like,
Yeah, it's a rare treat whenever he pulls out the percussion.
But anyways, sorry, continue.
Oh no, you're good. So, anyways, he was responsible for my next trajectory and just pushed me in the right way. When we got out of high school and just taught me like the professional ropes. So, yeah, he'd be my next influence. We gigged together. We still gig together to this day. Just did a gig with him last weekend. But yeah, he like really showed me how to just take value in myself as a musician, and like taught me how the money works, on and so forth. So,
Right. And so at this point, what, you were in 10th grade or?
10th grade, 10th through senior year.
Okay.
He looked out for me all those years, even when he wasn't on the road. He would always be checking, or when he was on the road, he's still checking and that kind of stuff.
So throughout that time, you were just developing your skills as a musician, learning
Yep.
more, doing the high school thing, talking to
Yep.
girls, doing the
Believe
band
it or
stuff.
not, I was so much of a loner once I moved here to California. I didn't really talk to girls throughout high school.
Was it because of the disconnect between California and Washington?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I was a
It was different
weirdo.
culture.
Oh, total different culture. I was a weirdo.
Okay. How so?
Like Washington was cool to be the whitewashed black guy. Here, nobody knew what to do with the whitewashed black guy. So, I didn't fit in
were
with
an
black
outcast
people.
then.
And then white people were like, your people are over there. So it was like this weird outcast. So I had to figure out how to, because you got to think, and especially in high school, it's cliques. So
Right.
freaking, during ninth grade, I was in a successful band. I hung out with all upperclassmen due to like some of my classes that I was taking. So success in high school there was already made for me within the first 2 months of high school. I literally walked around, did whatever I wanted to do. I knew everybody on and so forth. Everybody knew who I was. My band had performed from the school. We had won, all the
Like Battle of the Bands and
Battle
all
of
that
Bands, all
type
that kind of
stuff.
stuff. So everybody knew. And then I moved here to where nobody knew, nobody cared.
So music didn't even help you, like in those 3 years, to building a relationship with people or anything like that?
You gotta understand, bass is not a popular instrument.
I mean, I get that. There's that joke that people walk out during the bass solo to use the restroom, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Nobody. I think now bass has gotten somewhat of an enlightenment, but back then, we're talking 15 years ago, bass was still not very sought after.
It was still drums, guitar, vocal type stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if I walked around with a guitar, people were like, "Oh, that's cool." Bass? Who's that? What's that? Why is that a? Yeah, that's a big guitar.
They're like, I don't get it. Why are the strings so big?
Why are they so
why is
big?
he there?
Yeah. And meanwhile, what's crazy is once you get out of high school, everything changes. So it's just like you're unpopular in high school, but real world gigging, you get so much love as a bass player. Like it's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, because like there's not that many good bass players. You know, there's like Josh to me is one of the best bass players I've ever heard. Like, you know, screw whatever he says. You know, he'll be like, no man, no. Like, but he really is. And to have someone of his caliber, you know, like being on bass, he's gonna get all the work. You know, because there aren't that many players that can play bass, let alone play bass at his level.
I appreciate that, Daniel.
So, when you get out of high school, were you thinking like, man, what am I gonna do with my life? You're like, no, I'm gonna play bass, bro. This is what it is.
Dude, I had no other options as far as anything career wise. It was like join the military. No, I have asthma. What else are you gonna do? I didn't know anything else.
Yeah,
So
and
it
you
was
weren't a
just-
school kid. You're like, nah, like this is whack. Like I want to
Yeah.
play my instrument. Like this is what you were made to do or born to
Exactly.
do.
That's all I knew how to do. So it's just like I'm gonna make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So no college, no anything. I didn't have money. My parents weren't rich. Everybody thinks you grew up in a white household and you grew up rich. No,
And I
we didn't.
it's true because you took me to your home in the Antelope Valley that you grew up in, and it was like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't like the best neighborhood. It was kind of just
No.
You know, so yeah, I can vouch for that. You know?
Yeah. So
There is white poor people out there that
just-
struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and on top of that, they were taking care of you and your other siblings.
Yeah.
And their kids on top of that, so they have a lot of mouths to feed, and they were very giving people. You know, even I never had the pleasure of meeting your father because he had passed away, but your mother, you know, super fun and you know loves to push your buttons and knows the ins and outs of you. You know,
and
so,
my mom became best friends just because I slept in.
oh man,
Y'all were the worst. I woke up, I come out my room at mom's house, Daniel out there just laughing, telling dumb stories about me and making fun of me. He started talking like her. I wanted to punch him in the throat so bad.
oh man, she gave me some juicy details. But like the coolest thing was that I learned about your mom was the fact that she grew up in Africa.
Yeah. Isn't that
You know?
crazy?
Yeah, because her parents were missionaries.
Yes.
And she had a pet monkey and told me all about that type
Rewind.
of stuff.
She grew up in Africa in the 40s.
Yeah, that's crazy because there was nothing there, and they were building homes out there. Or her parents were building homes.
Her dad was building homes out there, just hanging out with the, I don't want to say the village people. That sounds rude, but like the natives. That's also rude.
Oh,
Daniel.
sorry. Yo, I sorry. I need to freshen up on the language.
I wasn't very PC of you, Daniel.
I'm sorry.
You might get demonetized by YouTube.
It's what it is, man.
Oh, you're fired.
But
We need a new host.
hey, man, this is like third, fourth episode. We still getting our feet wet.
Yeah.
So let's go back forward to what we were talking about, Back to the Future, to you being 18. So what were you like? What would you do to get work as a musician, or what were you thinking, or was it because I already built up a relationship with someone like Trey, or
You know what's crazy,
What is
man? Everybody wants to say that there's a proper way. You got to go out, you got to network, and all this kind of stuff. Let me tell you, there's truth to that. But there's something about being authentic to yourself that people want to hire you for. So I went out to jams. Jams aren't really my thing. And here's why. You're never in an ideal situation.
Can you explain what a jam is to people who maybe aren't musicians
So
and what it is?
A
you know?
jam over here in LA County is when, so the first half of the night, there's a set house band. They do a set. They're usually really good. And then the second half of the night, they open it up for the musicians in the area to jam with each other or with one of them, on and so forth. and it's just a fun way to network and have a good time. Well, so to say. And so that's the main way that people tell you, like, yo, go out and meet people to get some work. Let me tell you, it's really not. There's very few people that actually successfully get work from those things. And I just actually had this conversation last night with a really successful drummer. He was saying the same thing as I am, where jams don't be proven to be successful because they're not ideal. Because pretend, number one, music is about chemistry. Music is about speaking that language to one another. So obviously, the people I have more time with, I'm going to speak to a lot more clearly. I'm going to understand where you're going. I'm going to understand how to complement your playing, on and so forth. The problem with random people, imagine you're not at the same skill level as I am, or you don't have the same understanding of music as I am. Well, now that makes you the oddball out.
Or both.
Or both. You know, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or say that this song is not up your expertise. Like, you know, we're supposed to be well-rounded as musicians, right? But if I'm a Latin guy that, you know, specializes in playing Latin, and you put a Stevie Wonder in front of me with a bunch of dudes that play Stevie Wonder, I'm not going to fit in. Because it's
Yeah,
just...
it could be a train wreck and it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Exactly. And so now somebody that's actually a decent player in their own right probably doesn't look like a decent player, on and so forth. So I found out just actually through going and hanging out with people outside of music, that's how I got most of my work. By going and chilling and hanging, talking crap.
And did you move to LA or were you
No,
still living in Antelope Valley?
I've always been outside of LA. I did a brief stint where I stayed in NoHo for a little while. I hated it. So I've lived in the Antelope Valley most of my career. Did the travels. I like having quiet. I like not being submerged. I also don't like living in LA. I think coronavirus taught me that my choice was smart. Because, yeah, we had less cases out here. We had less stupidity. We had less rules. Yeah, so.
Okay. So, what did you have like any major gigs at a young age, like from 18 to 21 or anything like that? Or were you just playing with people and they're like, hey man, I got a gig over here. Like, can you fill in for this guy? Or like, oh, I have an artist that needs a bass player because you met somebody somewhere and we were chilling out here. What was it? You know, how was it building up?
What, the start off?
Yeah.
I started off really strong, actually. I'm not going to give specific names, only because... But I started off really strong. I was fortunate to get a call for two major artists up at the top of my career. That really allowed me to hang out with cool people. That put me in a place of being able to have longevity as far as making money with or without being on the big stage. And also, I started traveling overseas. A lot of people think that's a terrible idea. And I understand why they think that.
Why is that?
Just because you get locked into this overseas playing.
You get comfortable.
You get comfortable.
And you get locked in.
I did it more for the traveling.
Okay, so you were doing kind of major gigs with, and then independent artists, or like maybe like a corporate gig here and there. Like
I actually didn't do most. I haven't really done a lot of corporate.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. First, I literally at 19 and 20. Sorry, no, 2021. Played for two major artists. After which, I played for them until I was about 22. 22, 23, my dad he had cancer. And he died at 23, at which I just wanted to kind of restart, get out, and just do something different. At which I got the offer to go to China.
So you were 23 when you got an offer to go to China.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had an audition for that too, right?
I had an audition. It wasn't much of an audition.
Okay. And who recommended you for that?
Trey
Balfour. Okay.
Yeah. Trey was like, hey, you want to go to China? I was like, well, why not? Like, I had never even thought about going out the country at that time.
Okay. And what part of China was it?
Oh, good old northeastern.
Northeastern China, right next to Russia and North Korea. And used to be The only place where you could fly from
to North Korea.
to North Korea, the only place. But now they canceled it. I think maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
They canceled it?
Yeah, you can't do it
I was
anymore.
trying to hop on a flight.
Right. We were talking about that. You and me really wanted to go over there. You know?
I still do, low key.
Yeah. Well, remember, I think I remember when we were hanging out, like that one guy got in trouble for trying to steal some memorabilia.
That's right.
Yeah, and then all this other stuff went down. You know, news reporters, documentaries were coming out right
he
when we
still
were having
there?
this idea. He's underground, probably.
He's probably dead.
Yeah, he's under the
I
ground.
can't
6 feet
imagine
under
that
the ground, bro.
ended nicely for him.
No, they don't feed you anything. They work you to death. You're manual labor. That's terrible, bro.
Yeah.
But so you have this opportunity to go to China, and you have a gig, or you have this gig to go to China because you passed the audition, right?
The audition didn't really mean anything. Everybody knew we could play before we got there.
Because of the recommendation.
The weird thing about auditions, it's not really about your playing. Once again, it's like, do you get along with everybody? Do you do the tour staff? Does the management staff do they like you? Because most people that are coming in to audition, they got some cojones on them.
Right. You just don't want to be stuck with an asshole for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have to think about that. Even if you're on tour, you know, the last thing you want to do is, as like an employee, is add more problems to the artist or your employer.
Listen, I learned that the hard way. There was a gig I did recently, probably the last long gig I did, and there was a person of the band that was the worst person I've ever been around, literally to this day, one of the worst people. And this person messed up my entire relationship with the artist, with their management, and the management of the gig. Ruined everything. I'll say it, and I'll say it 1,000 times. It matters what the character is of the people that are on the gig.
Because that one bad apple, you know, sends a
Ruined
ripple
it.
effect.
Ruined.
Yeah.
Literally. Turned what was supposed to be a super fun 3 months into hell on earth. So, but yeah, that's what auditioning is for.
And
It's
that
like,
probably happens more often than not.
oh yeah, every musician can sit there and tell you stories, story after story after story. Doesn't matter about the player. In fact, some of the top players in the industry are awful people.
Yeah, for sure. No, I feel that. Yeah, like I'm already writing names in my head.
I'm sure you are.
But so now you're getting on, or what happened? What was the process to get to China? You know, because was it like, oh, you went to the audition? It's like, cool, bro. Here's a plane ticket. You out.
Oh, here's the other thing. You never know what kind of unconventional person you get running the gig. So it was basically show up for rehearsal, get a visa, get a passport, get on the plane. We rehearsed. We shot a video to make sure the agent was
Little
fine.
promo video.
Yeah, the usual. And then boom, I was gone in China.
And how long did it take from the audition? It's like
7 months. From the audition, believe it or not, because they went another direction first. So this is the whole overseas circuit. So there's bands, there's agents for clubs, on and so forth. And over there, it's color has a huge play in all of it. So you have to have the right colors of people.
right color, because overseas, you know, they want like, oh, we want so many white people and stuff. Cause,
Well, there couldn't be too many black people.
right. And hey, when you talk about racism here in the U.S.,
Oh, man.
it's much, much worse over there.
People don't want to have that conversation with me.
No, I mean, have you been in China and witnessing some real racist type things? I'm like,
yeah.
You know, I'm like, man, this is not chill from every citizen.
I had to say, when I was in China, there was this black dude just minding his business at the bar, right? Security walk over, and they was about to whoop him for no reason. And so they were accusing him of stealing something or whatnot. I still got the message. But I went over, I'm like, hey, leave him alone. And so they listened to me because I was at their club. Like I was.
Yeah, you worked at the venue.
Yeah, they listened to me. But had I not stepped in, they were going to whoop him for no reason. And the Chinese whooping is not an American whooping. That is 6 to 8 Chinese dudes just beating you outside. I've seen I've seen them take their belt buckles and start beating you with their belt buckles. They'll take trash cans. I mean, whatever it is. I've seen some of the gnarliest fights.
Yeah, when
Of
I
like,
was funny enough, I actually did the same contract as Josh years later because he recommended me for this
yeah,
contract.
it wasn't the same contract.
Or not the same contract, but
It wasn't the same because it was
was
better when
different.
I was there.
yeah, it was better when he was there. When I was there, it was run down. You know, they gone through different name change and all this stuff. But I remember, them telling us because they would have events all the time, and then they would tell us you need to dress more like N-word, with a hard R.
They said that to you?
Yeah, they said that to the
Oh my
band.
God.
They said that to the band on multiple occasions.
Holy crap.
The guy that did our visa work and everything, because I was supposed to be there in November, and the guy was just lazy and didn't care about the band having another guitar player, so it took an extra month. I didn't go till December 27th, and I was supposed to be there before Thanksgiving.
I remember that
Yeah,
because I had just gotten back.
right. And so I was like, yo, I just quit my job teaching. What's going on? But anyways, continue. So on with China.
Yeah, so I ended up going to China, and it ended up being one of the most revolutionizing trips because I got to see the world. And I'll always say this, that the average American needs to travel. And it's not something that's ingrained into our culture because our country.
But not just visit. Sorry, just to interject. Just not just visit, but really get involved in it. Because it's one thing to visit a country; it's another thing to live in it. It's what I've learned since my first time going overseas. Because when you're living there, you get to see all walks of life, the real poverty, the way things are really run. And we'll probably get into that in the next episode of the podcast when we talk about our adventures together.
Oh, Lord.
Right?
There's a podcast for that?
There's gonna be in a second.
That's going to be demonetized.
That's okay. We out here. Hey, we them boys.
We them boys.
Sorry. So let's talk about. So you got to China, and how was that? Like, did they pick you up? Because with me, they forgot about me. So I was like, yo, I don't even have cell phone reception. I got to stay inside. Because it was like 1 hour in the airport. They give you free Wi-Fi. So I'm like texting the band director. But anyways.
Bro, they were there when we got. Now, mind you, we were the second band to ever go to this spot.
Okay.
So we were, and the band that was there before this had put the spot on the map. So this was like the number one club in a city in China the size of Chicago.
And they ended up making promotion posters, and people wanted to take pictures with you and everything. Like, it was that
people
big.
were stalking us.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. People
I didn't know that. Okay.
Dude, they would follow us into the gym. Oh, yeah. Some of them have stories about that. When we were out in public places, people would be taking pictures of us. I mean, it was weird. It was weird. There was a moment where all of us we were in, was that Zhongjie?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Some Zhongjie Street, whatever. Middle Street. Where
they have like all the stuff to sell. and
Like
whatnot.
no, not Taiyuan.
Oh, okay.
But the one with all the malls.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. With like where you can get computers and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
all that
long
kind
street.
of stuff.
Yeah, I know
The
exactly what you're talking
long
about.
one.
Yeah, and you can get fresh fish right off the street. Yo, you good, man.
I know.
Talk about wet market,
Yeah. That's where coronavirus came from.
Watch out.
Yo, after being there, I could definitely see where that coronavirus came
Oh yeah,
from.
man. Their regulations are ridiculous, man.
What regulations?
Exactly. Exactly, bro. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, one time we were in Middle Street and like all of us were standing outside and people are just staring at us. Some people are taking pictures. We're all just standing on this stairwell talking and they're all just dumbfounded that we were standing there. Like we were legitimately in this weird space of being pseudo celebrities out there. So like we would walk into other clubs, people would like invite us over to their VIP tables. They would, buy drinks for us or, do whatever just to hang out with us. There was one dude, our drummer at the time, Chris, hilarious dude, but he loved Jordans. One of the Chinese dudes literally was like, oh my God, where did you get those? Where did you get those? Oh, I got it from here. And like goes and bought like every pair of Jordans that Chris had. Everything he'd see Chris had, he would go and buy them.
Dang.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a closed off society that gets to see a little bit of another culture. They go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was there, like everybody, you went what 2013,
2012.
2012, and I was there 2018, and everybody was just dressed in like full Supreme. Everything had Supreme. Their phone case, everything said Supreme on it. And I'm like, dang, bro, like y'all really like Supreme, but
bro.
it's just what they think, like their idea of what Americans
Yeah.
dress like, because they don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and over there they just kind of add something. They have something called WeChat, which is like WhatsApp. You know, it's like a free. It's like
Yeah,
their version
it's,
of.
it's communist WhatsApp.
It's communist WhatsApp, and it's like their version of Facebook too, because they can post stuff and post pictures and send messages. You can pay for your taxi, for your groceries. You can do everything with that, and it's all tracked by the government. So that's always
Literally.
nice.
Dude, there was one time I was sitting in a car with Young, the dude that is like Chinese, Jason Bourne, and like one other of her associates. And I go, hey guys, what do you guys think of your president? They all look at me, turn off their phones, and they're like, don't you ever say that again.
Damn.
And I was like, what? They're like, we get in trouble if government hears us say anything about them. I was like, dang, okay, my bad.
I like your Asian accent too.
I know that was terrible. that was my attempt.
It sounds like like a poor lady like about to get beaten.
No, don't.
Please, please.
Well, you sound Mexican. I mean, because you are 100% Mexican,
Hey, is what it
even
is.
though you look white.
I know, and what's funny is like every country we went to, they would think I'm
White or Jewish.
or that I'm part of that race. Like I remember in Indonesia, they would be like talking to me in Bahasa.
Yeah, you do look a little Indonesian though.
Yeah.
you like a
Or
little
Armenian. I
suspect.
can look all kinds of things, bro.
I know.
I just gotta grow the beard
You're
out.
a
I cut the
chameleon.
beard. I can do whatever I want, bro.
You should grow a beard.
I can't, bro. If I'm joining LAPD, I got shave.
Damn, bro, LAPD.
Here we go.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Damn. Yo, you know that's our motto, bro. Don't wear it out. So, but do you want to talk a little bit more about that China experience and how all that went
I mean,
down, bro?
are we saving all of our travels for
Well, I was not there for your China experience, so the next episode I'd be down to talk about. Hey, now after China, this went down, and then I came into the picture.
Let me tell y'all. China was weird, man. That was for all of us. So we had like this random group of misfit musicians and singers in this band because none of us had gone to school or were in school. We had all not gone to college, essentially, and we were all kind of that age of like just graduating college, or somewhere within that span, except for our fearless leader,
The MD or music director.
music director. Yeah, he was a little bit older than us, but the rest of us were still fairly young and trying to find our way in life. And so it was a really interesting dynamic in this band because we were in an ideal situation, literally an ideal situation, and we did everything we could to mess that up.
Oh,
As far as just like the dumb mistakes we were making.
how so?
I mean, us dudes in the band were in a relationship every 2 days. Like,
Because I remember you saying two, not to name anybody specific, but I think two of the members were kind of having a contest to see who could rank up the most numbers.
yeah, I mean, and so that just...
And these were not just Chinese girls, just to clarify. There were a lot of Russian girls, there were
Let me
Greek
explain.
girls, there was...
There was everything there. Like, this was a college city. So there was like something like 26 universities in Shenyang. Something like that, maybe more.
I just know there were a lot. I don't know how many.
Okay, so you had people from Russia, the UK, France, Greece, all over Africa, all of your Russian countries, or Russian-speaking countries from Ukraine, Russia, Moldova. I bet none of y'all have ever heard of Moldova. That sounds like something made up on the Avengers.
It's like the plane they fly.
Yeah, Moldova. But yeah, so there was a lot of... It was our first time being around exotic women, number one. Number two, it was
Different culture too.
yeah. Well, I mean, that goes into the realm of exotic, like just stuff we had never seen or been around. You know, in America, we got it pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like you generally have your distinct neighborhoods of what's there. You're not getting much diversity unless you're in like New York, where every street is a different race, different culture, different everything. So it was weird. I don't think any of us knew what to do. And so our culture shock played out in all of us being like, all right, I'm going to date this chick.
Let's see what's up with this one. Let's see what's under the hood.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what we're working with. And so it was super, super fun, but super dumb. Like,
And why was it so dumb?
we had dudes saying, I'll take you home to America. Like,
Oh man, we'll get you a passport.
I'll get you a passport. Like, just dumb stuff for them to date them or whatever you want to call it.
And considering how like popular you guys were and you guys were a dope band and everything, like you really didn't even have to do that, to be honest. Like y'all were just doing the most for nothing.
So then we had that side of things. Then we had the me side of things, which was like, oh, let me get into a relationship. Let me get into a stupid relationship. And let's waste some time. So that's what I ended up doing. About halfway through the trip, I met a lovely young Russian lady. And 4 years later.
But I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but something that I learned, because one thing a lot of people see with musicians, like, oh, they're addicted to drugs, alcohol, women, whatever it may be. And one thing is, once you're on the road, you kind of see why people start drinking and doing these kinds of things.
Here's what happens. You get numb to everything. Literally, you get numb because the music part of it, you love it so much, but it's so repetitious that you get numb to it.
And as most musicians are creative people and they want to be creative, always finding something new to do. And when you're playing the same show or only adding a couple songs or whatever and playing to the same crowd and having, you run out of like licks and material to put into these songs because you get tired of it because you keep hearing it every night. And it becomes monotonous. It becomes so tedious that you're just like, man, I just need a drink or something to just get through this.
Yeah, and one drink turns into 10. 10 turns into 20.
Yeah, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but it's interesting. That's why there's so much drug and alcohol and, shall I say, womanizing addictions in the music industry, because you're always looking for something to renew that, I don't know.
Like chasing the dragon type thing.
Yeah, that chasing the dragon. So those are the easiest, quickest, most accessible things. And so you always need a little inspiration. There's nothing like an attractive woman walking into the room of what you're playing with.
Yo,
and all of a
preach.
sudden, the whole band starts acting brand new.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've never played this song before. Check out this lady.
Yo, I had chicks that told me, man, you know what? That was good. Like the third or fourth time they see you, but it's never as good as the first time I saw you. I'm like, there's a reason.
There's a reason. Yeah, the first time I seen you, I'm trying to make an impression. Mm-hmm.
So we let loose.
Exactly, and it pays off when we get that attention.
And so you were there. You were supposed to be there for 4 or 5 months.
I was supposed to be there for 3 months.
And you said earlier you were there for 7.
Yeah.
You want to talk about what happened with that?
My guy, about halfway through, they wanted to extend. And I was like, look, I can go home and go back to living regular, or I can extend. I'm going to extend. So I extended to the additional 3 months, and then come down to that. They were like, oh, we don't have anybody to come and replace you guys. Can you guys do another month? And I'm like, pay me extra.
But at that point, did you want to be there? Were you just like, man?
Bro, we were burnt out. But
By what month were you burnt out? Because for those who don't know, when you're on those contracts, it's cool for the first month. Then in the middle, you're ready to leave. The last month is the hardest because you just want to pull your hair out and go home.
Up until the last week. And then
Yeah.
you're like, I don't want to leave. I'm having so much fun.
I love the 5-star service.
Dude, the only thing I miss from all those is somebody doing my laundry for me.
Yo, Indonesia had the best like laundry service. Man. Yeah,
But save that.
Yeah, we'll save that.
Save that.
So with China, what, 7 months, and then you're done.
7 months. So the only reason I wanted to stay was because I was in a relationship. I mean, a full relationship.
Like fiance, like, let's get married type stuff.
I mean, it wasn't fiance yet, but 8 months later it was.
Dang. Okay. So yeah, it was developing. It was
It
growing.
was developing. I know, but it was a dumb decision. Yeah, because what you learn overseas is anything done in that moment is usually only supposed to be for that moment. It's not supposed to go long term. And
We all learned that. I learned that recently the hard way.
yeah, well, not like I didn't try to warn you a bunch of different times
I know.
through my personal experiences. Because I didn't only do it once, I did it twice, my guy.
Yeah.
So now I'm an
We'll get to that too.
old wiser man.
Man. But that's how you learn, man, through experience, That's how you learn. So, I mean, you get back from China, right?
Okay.
And then what's from there? Because it's like, well, I have this girl.
So here's what's crazy. You get back from China and you're on this high from being like the man for the last 7 months. Then you come home and reality sets in. You get really depressed. Every one of us, because we didn't have anything. Now, normally what happens with these types of gigs is there's another gig lined up afterwards. You're in some type of a circuit.
And they just rotate the
And they
bands.
just rotate the bands. We weren't in any type of circuit. So there was no moving on to the next. It was, all right, this is over. We're going home. Crazy. Because all of your friends back home are like, oh my God, you did that. You went to China. Let me buy you dinner. You're back. Cool. And that's all fun for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then it gets all taken away.
And then after that, it leaves. And you're like, all that work I did overseas, and I got nothing to show for it here. I have nothing to do here because I was gone, out of sight, out of mind.
And you know what? When I talk to people, like, they're like, why don't you go back overseas? Like, they think, like, oh, you failed or something. But it's like, no, you don't understand what goes into it. You don't understand why we don't want to go back. Because we've seen the darker side of the people who stay.
Yeah, you get sucked in.
You get
don't
sucked
to
in.
leave.
Like, we saw people who would literally spend their whole paycheck on alcohol.
Literally.
Or people who were so drunk that it was like a $100 tab, for example, and they would just leave $500 and forget to take the change. Like that.
Man,
That's
why
stories
you
I've
gotta come
legitimately.
after? Why you gotta come after a man like that?
Bro, I'm not saying any names. Rest in peace, boy.
Why you gotta come after our boy like that?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just to show, hey, like this type of stuff happens, and
Not only that, you also meet like these extraordinary musicians. Some of them are monsters, but they didn't do anything because they got sucked into this one circuit. And so they're just stuck playing the same places, doing the same thing for the next 20 years. And then they get burnt out and don't have anything. They can't get a gig anymore because they're too old or, something or other. So then they've literally wasted all their time playing overseas and don't have anything in their old age to go home to.
and that's like the biggest threat to musicians is complacency and just settling.
Exactly. Sorry. It's my
No
day
worries,
off.
no worries. we're gonna play some Call of Duty after this
Oh
too,
my
man.
God.
Man, my boy
Can
Josh.
we just have a moment about Call of Duty?
Yo, the new Call of Duty, bro.
Man.
I haven't played a good Call of Duty like that since Black Ops 1, bro.
Bro, you ain't never lied.
Bro, that's a good Call of Duty, man.
Man.
I feel it, bro. When I play, when I take someone down, I'm like, that's it, bro.
Man, I just updated my battle pass.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah,
That's what's
we're
up.
going up a few tiers.
Man, my boy Josh has been carrying the team, bro. He's sending me stuff. He's like getting 68 and like what 30. Like he's doing it, bro. He's carrying the team first place with a pistol, bro.
I'm just here to do the Lord's work.
Amen, man. But yeah, then you COD, man. If you haven't tried it out, it's worth checking out. We're not even sponsored by them,
No.
So
I mean, do you want a sponsorship by Call of
I
Duty?
mean, I'll sponsor them just to make sure that next game is just as good, if not better, man.
Amen. This
Because
is the first good one in years.
yeah, because they did that whole space stuff stuff flying around and
Bro, I got Battle Ops. What is that? 3 or 4? What's the one?
yeah,
we played?
4. Man, that story was like I honestly
Not
didn't know what
only
was going
that,
on.
The guns, like you could control bullets. I mean, you're flying through space.
Yeah, it just became
things.
ridiculous. It became a parody of itself.
Yeah.
You know, and like we beat that on the hardest difficulty where like you get shot once and you're down, you know?
Yeah.
And like we did it just because it was a challenge, but I mean we didn't really enjoy it, you know,
Bro, it
compared to
was
like
like-
when we played Halo 1, 2, and 3 together, like, you know, going through
One
it
more
in
last
Bahrain,
ride.
one more last ride, bro. Like that was that was a lot of fun, but
Speaking of which, we're about past due to do that again.
oh yeah.
Just letting you
Oh
know.
yeah. But man, you know, I guess we can leave off on that note if you want, unless you want to add anything. We're over a little over an hour.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. You know, stay safe.
Stay safe.
And so this has been an episode of the DP Podcast, double penetrating that skull through both ears. And I'd like to thank my guest, Joshua McClanahan, once again. Thanks, dog. I appreciate you, bro.
No problem, Doc. Thanks for having me.
All right, peace out, guys.